Hello and welcome to my watch reviews. I know, it's another San Martin and I should really be bringing more things to the channel, but this turned up yesterday. I had no idea it was coming, and when I opened it and found out what it was, I figured I better get it on film pretty quickly. So the model number on this one is SN0034-G-B1. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But what's so significant about it? Well, this, look at it. It is a nice little pilot's watch doing exactly what it says on the tin. It is an automatic movement, solid steel case, sapphire crystal, little diddy clasp. Looks very nice, but what I especially like is the size. The diameter here is 37 millimeters. I've been crying out for these guys to make smaller watches, and here's one that is going to suit my wrist and probably many of your wrists too. Certainly us guys who are a bit older or into vintage watches, we don't like the loud, ostentatious, big fat boy watches. We like smaller diameters, and I think this is a pretty decent offering, to be honest with you. What's even more special about it is the price. This one with a metal bracelet is 140 UK pounds, which is around about 166 US dollars, and it also comes on a leather strap, which you'll pay less for. But there's also a discount code. I've been given a discount code for this, which I'll show you at the end of the video, and that's going to save you $20 at checkout. Now, of course, all that is excluding taxes into your country, and maybe that $20 will actually pay for the tax. So you'd be actually only paying 140 to get this to your door. That makes it quite a good option. Looks quite straightforward. Like I say, there's nothing flamboyant, ostentatious, but let's see how practical it is. Take it outside, get some better shots for you, and have a good closer look. As with all San Martins, if you take the lining out of the canister, you've got a spring bar tool down here, which is okay, fit for purpose. It comes with a nice little stubby screwdriver, which is enough to adjust your strap, and then you've got a little metal hand tag for your keyring should you want. There's always an instruction book, a little card, and then your warranty card as well, which is signed. Of course, don't know how good the warranty is with these things. It's one of those, if you're going to try and return something from China, I know from experience that it's quite difficult. But leaving that aside, at least you've got that as proof of purchase. Here we are outside then, and it's a cold, damp, miserable day here in UK, which ironically is quite good lighting for filming watches, but there we go. Now, I've been now wearing this watch on and off for the last 3 or 4 days. I have to say, I'm really taken with it. I like the size, I like the no nonsense about it all. I haven't got this style of watch in my collection, and my collection is so considerable. It's over 200 watches, so it is a bit refreshing and makes me wonder why I've never added a pilot's stroke Flieger watch design to my collection. What I like so much is the sizing of this watch. It's almost vintage sizing. It's 37 millimeters in diameter. For those who work in the imperial system, that's just under an inch and a half. Inch and a half is 38.1 millimeters. The lug to lug is 45.5, so just fractionally over inch and 3/4, and then the thickness is 11.35. Again, that's slightly bigger than 7/16. See, you can see the engineering coming out of me. I am fluent in imperial. I also like the sizing of the crown on this one, actually. The crown is 1/4 of an inch, so it's 6.35 millimeters in diameter. It protrudes nicely, winds perfectly. It's a screw down crown as well. This watch is offering 100 meters of water resistance. It doesn't say that anywhere, only in their blurb, so I can only take that at face value. It has got a case back, which is a screw back case back, and not like the normal San Martins you see with all the Rolex style of case backs. This is a traditional one, which is much easier to take on and off. And that reminds me that I didn't actually tell you the lug width either. That is the standard 20 millimeters. can ask me what that is in imperial. Well, it's 3/4 of an inch plus 1 millimeter. Nearly there. Looking at the dial in more detail, well, it's nice and simple. You've got that traditional triangle at 12 to tell you which way the watch is up, and then a standard minute track accentuating index at every 5-minute intervals. I really like the combination of it showing 3, 6 and 9, and then the rest of the increments are in minutes from 5 minutes up to 55. I guess that's the standard design for this genre of watches, but never handled one or worn one before. I find it quite refreshing. I really like it. All of the information used to read the watch is just printed onto the dial. It's very, very no nonsense. It's clear, nice, easy to read. I like the fact actually that it says San Martin. I like the San Martin hex logo. However, obviously that would clash too much with the triangle, and I guess that's why they thought it out. So they've just printed it there, along with using the same font for the automatic. Honestly, can't criticise it at all. Lovely little cathedral hands and a very basic second hand. No loom on the second hand at all. We'll go to a loom shot now. The loom used is BGW9, gives it that nice blue hue. This is a time lapse of around about 30 minutes, and you can see that a lot of it fades reasonably quickly, but then you're left with the 3, 6 and 9 and the 12 mark, and the hands are glowing quite well. That does continue on. The camera doesn't pick it up as much. It's not going to win any awards, but it's perfectly functional at this price point. So here's the watch all sized up for my 7-inch rather hairy wrist. Look at it. I think it looks really nice, fits perfectly. Really no nonsense, tell the time quite easy. It isn't pulling my hairs, in case you are wondering that very question. Let's have a closer look at the case finishing and quality of machining on this one. Well, there's not a polished surface to be seen anywhere. Everything is brushed and utilitarian. It's done as always to a pretty decent standard. I don't think San Martin make their cases in-house. I think all of this is done in a machine shop somewhere else. I can't find any sharp edges on this, not on the edge of the bracelet, not on the edges of the case. All the brushing looks uniform. Everything's solid stainless steel, including the bracelet. You've got screw links as well for changing. At this price point, offering this much, honestly, I can't fault it. Well, I said that too soon really, because there is something I can fault on it. They're using this little clasp. It's only got 2 micro adjustment holes, which might not be suitable for everyone. I've been able to size it, but I appreciate that not everybody could get that nice comfortable fit. Right, one last thing before I cut to the bench and take a good look at the movement. This is also fitted with sapphire crystal. I mean, would we expect anything less nowadays? It's also got a little bit of AR coating on it as well, which will help legibility in that glorious sunshine that we do not have here in the UK. Here we are on the time grapher then. So this little San Martin is packing the Miyota 8215. People do criticise the Miyota and certainly this movement for being a bit noisy, but this movement's been around since 1977, so it has stood the test of time. They're still using it now. It's got 21 joules, so all the friction areas are dealt with quite nicely. 40 hours of power reserve, and it's beating at 21,600 vibrations per hour. This one, as you can see, certainly a dial-up position. That's brilliant. Amplitude's really good, 0 beat error, and running to within 2 seconds a day. You know, criticise it all you like, but that is telling the truth there. We're going to test it and put it in different positions to be sure, but to me so far that's impressive. Okay, it's gone to 4. We're not seeing double figures, and that's the main thing. So crown down, shouldn't be too much stress on the movement. It is a little bit wobbly, and I guess that's just because it is a lower grade movement. That would indicate to me there's something well, it's all to do with the escape and the pallet fork, I would have thought, but nothing major. Still very consistent. So the crown up position is normally the most stressful position for watches. The gravity has a nice way of pulling on the movement, and it's pulling the right way on this movement because again we're seeing nice and accurate readings. just not a nice straight parallel line, which I'd love to see. But again, you know, maybe I should take it apart and service it and see if I can make it any better. But there you go, all positions were in dial down now. I am really happy with that. I'm quite surprised by it actually. And I did read somewhere about San Martin starting to regulate some movements in-house. They did it on one of my last review watches. So perhaps they've tweaked this one, or we're just lucky and that's how good it is out of the factory. Time will tell how well it performs. It's a Japanese movement, should be fairly reliable, and these things are considered throwaway now, so anything goes wrong with it, it's quite easy to change. So case back off, there you go, that's what the Miyota movement looks like. Beating away quite nicely. No finishing on it particularly, very plain and simple. I've seen these in a gold colour as well, which look a bit nicer, and this is the thing. The rotor spins and spins and spins, and it only winds in one direction as well as a rule with these things. You can hear it now winding that way, and it will get tighter and tighter as the mainspring gets tighter. The rotor doesn't move as much, and usually that's probably why you hear so much noise, because it then spins the opposite way like we've got there, and that will spin forever, whereas that way it won't. It gets resistance depending on how wound the movement is. A little bit of knowledge for you there. There we go, brilliant. Here we are on the San Martin store, and you can see that this watch is also available on a strap, and it's a bit cheaper at 116 UK pounds. It's about 140 US dollars. Now I would always recommend that you buy any watch on a bracelet, because then you can change it to a strap of your choosing to your tastes. You might want to spend more money and have a nicer quality strap, whereas finding bracelets is a little bit more hard to come by. I did say there's a discount code for this, so please check out the description box below. A discount code is only for a limited time. It is $20 off your purchase. That is an affiliate link, so anything you buy on AliExpress will give me a small commission. So please, if you want to buy anything from AliExpress, then click these links. It will help me in the long run. So thank you in advance for that. So there we go. Let's just go to my final conclusions on this watch. Well, I think it's offering great value for money. I'm loving the size. I'm loving the simplicity of it. Let's face it. It's refreshing. It is, I guess, copying a very classic design, and San Martin always fly close to the wind with their designs, but everybody else has done this sort of design before. It's practical, functional. It's like a beta watch. I've enjoyed wearing this at work. You're not too worried about it. Like I say, the size is great. The negatives to me, well, there aren't really that many at all. The clasp could do with some more micro adjustments, I think, for the wider audience. And my criticism, as always with San Martin, let's do something more interesting with the case backs. At least write maybe the model number, San Martin, certainly put the water resistance on there. At the moment we know this watch is 100 meters of water resistance because it tells us that only on the description in their page. It doesn't say it anywhere else on the watch. I can't verify the water resistance, and one day I will start dipping these into my pressure tester to be sure. But there we go, that's the end of this review. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then please, of course, give the video a thumbs up. Leave your comments below. I answer just about everyone that I possibly can. And if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed this review, you want to see reviews of new watches and certainly my vintage watch collection, then hit that subscribe button and definitely hit the bell button. That way you can see the watches as they are released on video when I upload them. I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye for now.